Jacob and his family back in Canaan are now faced with the prospect of uprooting and relocating to Egypt. And that prospect would fill Jacob in particular with great anxiety. Whenever you, as a tribe or a people group, are moving into a new territory, you're opening yourselves up to a massive amount of potential fights and fallouts. Think of Abraham when he moved into Egypt to escape the famine. He felt so threatened for his life that he told his wife to lie and pretend that she was just his sister, because he thought he was going to get killed on account of her. Think of Isaac, who did almost exactly the same thing. Because of a famine, he went to live in Gerar. And what happened? He felt so threatened for his life that he told his wife to lie and pretend she was his sister because he thought he was going to get killed. When Jacob himself has previously moved location into a new territory, his poor daughter Dinah was raped at the hands of a wicked man called Shechem, and his sons went to war and ended up slaying an entire city because of it. They were only spared the consequences of widespread retaliation because God intervened to protect them. Well, since that awful day, Jacob has found a place where he's been able to settle, and he's been safe there, hasn't he? But now he's been asked by God to move into a new territory. Again, a potentially terrifying prospect, which is why God appears to him in verse 3 and says, "Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down to Egypt with you, and I will surely bring you back again. And Joseph's own hand will close your eyes." Remember the significance of God saying to Jacob, "I will be with you," when most cultures believed that your God could only govern a particular patch. Well, Jacob has already recognized that this God governs the whole world. God says, "I'm not sending you down there on your own. I am going with you." And so with that reassurance ringing in his ears, Jacob goes, and all of his sons go with him, and all of their families go as well. You get a great long list from verse 8 to verse 25, and the reason for the list is to set up for us the Exodus story, which will begin in just a few chapters' time. We need to be clear on this much though: the whole of Israel is going down into Egypt, so the whole promise is bound up in the fate of this one family. So Jacob sends his son Judah to go ahead and to get directions to Goshen, where they're going to be living. Judah now is being recognized as the one among the brothers who will take responsibility and step up, even at the risk of his own life, in fact, to ensure the safety of his people. He is unofficially now the head of the household, and we'll see it made official, in fact, in chapter 48. From verse 29, we read, "Joseph had his chariot made ready and went to Goshen to meet his father Israel. As soon as Joseph appeared before him, he threw his arms around his father and wept for a long time. Israel said to Joseph, 'Now I am ready to die, since I have seen for myself that you are still alive.'" It's a stunning reconciliation, isn't it? A truly joyful, wonderful reunion. After all they've been through, after all the loss that they have suffered and endured, all of Jacob's prayers and hopes have been answered. It's like he's received his own son back from the dead. He says, "Now I am ready to die." In other words, I couldn't be any happier than this. I could not be more content than this. I couldn't be more grateful to God than I am right now. I know I'm lacking nothing. I'm not waiting for anything. I'm not grasping the heel of anyone for once. I'm at peace. You know, when I read that scene, I can't help but think of the wonderful, truly joyful reunion that awaits all those who trust in Christ. At the end of all of our journeys, there is a day of joyful reunion. Jacob has lived a storied life. He has tried, he's failed, he's sinned, he's struggled, and he has wrestled with the living God. All the while, God has been with him, and all the while, God has been leading him. And if you are in Christ, the same is true of you. God has been with you. God has been leading you. You will fail, like Jacob failed. you will grasp the heel like Jacob grasped the heel. You will be sinful and selfish like Jacob as well. But the fact is this: if you belong to God, then He is with you and He will take you all the way home. And there is a day coming then when you will be reunited with all the loved ones who have gone ahead of you, who loved the Lord. And you will think, I felt like I had lost you forever, but here you are right before my eyes. Now at last my heart is full. Now at last I want for nothing. Now at last I trust God with all that I have and all that I am, and I love His people as myself. Now in His presence and reconciled with His people, I am at peace.